Three. Welcome back to another Epidose. These crazy people I just keep eating me and can't stop talking about. Today, we're doing another short ribs. Yes, we do both long and short format. We try and get to one of each out a week. Sometimes we get more. Today, we're doing a short ribs on what topic there, Justin?
Something for the geriatric audience. Just kidding, Tom. There's even younger people that get these done. Knee and hip replacements. They're very, very common in the modern world. For my particular job, my 9 to 5, I talk to people all the time that are either pre-op, post-op, just had one done, going for their second one. I do work with mostly elderly clientele, but what kind of brought the idea of doing this topic, and just one more time, hey, if you want to make sure that help yourself not get a knee replacement, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. We try to, the advice we're giving you here, you may not apply to you tomorrow, may not apply to you the next week, but some of the stuff here, we could save you millions of dollars or thousands of dollars in
At least a few copays.
A few copays, depending on your insurance and medical costs, medical bills. So in my opinion, the least you could do is hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps us out.
Yeah, leave us some comments on any joint replacement or near joint replacements that you had. I know one of the reasons why we're both here is because Dr. Sean Baker talked about how by changing people's diets, they often didn't get that joint replacement because their pain went away. So let me address that real quick. It turns out that when you go on a low carb diet, people their synovial diets tend to secrete more synovium, which is the lubricating fluid in the joint. So that's one reason why people don't suffer so much pain when they change their diet. The other is carnivore diet tends to be very low on inflammation. In spite of what all your plant-based propagandists might say, a high meat diet or an all meat diet, a meat-based diet is not inflammatory, right?
Right. And one of the inspirations for this video was, I am a college educated young man. And one of my favorite professors was just posting on Facebook about how he was going to go have a hip replacement. And he's really not that old. Like, I want to say he's, below 65. And he ran like every day, not overweight. I mean, seemed relatively healthy. It's been a maybe 8 years since I've seen him, but at least in Facebook and stuff, he's mountain climbing with the sun and things like that. So it's just like, I kind of saw it out of the blue as getting a hip replacement. It's like, what's going on here? Like, why did he need that? My guess is, what most people end up with is arthritis. They get the arthritis in the joints, and then they get the pain, and then the doctors, right. And then the doctors just, okay, well, we either put you on Oxycontin and morphine or all these painkillers, ibuprofen every day.
Or even the over-counter ones that give you eczema and psoriasis.
Right. And or if that doesn't work, or you're not getting the pain relief, you're still hobbling around, not really walking too well, they said, well, we can give you the replacement. And my mother has, I believe, one of her hips done and a knee done, and I think it's on the same side. I want to say left side. I was there with her as she was getting that surgery. And, another side of it, I mean, I feel like at one point surgery was rare, but now people are just going under the knife all the time. And then there's plastic surgery, elective surgery. I've had a few surgeries. I know, Tom, you've had a couple. I mean, when they're really necessary, I get it. But these knee replacements, they're not cheap. Hospitals are making bank. The companies are making bank. And, sometimes it doesn't relieve the pain all the time. Sometimes it makes things worse. Sometimes they're not put in properly. Sometimes they don't heal properly. I mean, it's pretty risky, and doctors will, I call it prescribing, but prescribe surgery just kind of willy-nilly, okay, you're about this age. Yeah, it's kind of like once you hit 60, 65 or so, they're like, time for your hip replacement, time for your knee replacement, like as if it's nothing, and it's tough seeing your mom
Well,
or a family member
and
go into
along the way,
surgery.
people frequently get cortisone injections in those joints. And after a
Right.
while, the cortisone actually causes the joint to deteriorate faster. So a lot of people have had, especially when they're young and they get joint diseases. By the time they're young adults, or even maybe if they make it to middle age without a replacement, those joints fail, and then they have to have them replaced, right? Because the alignment's all off, and they have to go in there. Now, my grandmother, I believe she had 3 hip replacements because one of her first hip replacements, the hardware had to be replaced. They'd sort of upgraded everything by then, but I think she had 3 hip replacements plus a knee replacement before she passed away. So that's a lot of replacement joints.
Yeah.
Be
And
nice to avoid that. She had quite the sweet tooth too.
right. And well, I mean, one of my sister's boyfriends, now, mind you, the story isn't as crazy as it sounds. I am the youngest in my family, so you've got to stack on the years. There's 6 of me, if you can believe it.
Wow.
And so one of them, the second oldest, roughly, her boyfriend fell, and he's like 50, I want to say 53 or something like that. And they were up in Utah, and they went hiking, and he had a slip and broke his hip, you know.
Yikes.
And I don't remember, I'm not sure if he had a replacement. I think he may have, to get him up and walking again. I don't particularly remember the details. It was a couple of years ago, but yeah, I mean, I just feel like that's way too young, in my opinion. And so anything I can do to avoid, you know, everyone's so focused on longevity, which is undetermined. None of us know. No diet is going to determine how long you're going to live.
And how many hip replacements were you guessing there were in the U.S. every year? Just
Oh,
what was your initial guess?
my initial guess was 10,000, and to me, I already felt like that was a lot.
And I looked it up, and according to orthoinfo.aaos.org, it's somewhere around 450,000 a year.
It's
So
half
that's
a
quite a bit.
million.
And
Yeah.
then I looked up knee replacements, and knee replacements was something like 600,000 a year. So that's a lot of artificial joints.
That's a billion if you add them. It's a
A
billion
billion?
surge.
It's a billion. Are
Oh
you doing
no, a
you do
million.
you doing new math over there?
I am. I'm adding zeros. There you
All
go.
right.
It's a million, which is still, I mean, that's a lot of freaking surgery. That's a lot of people going under the knife. And some of
Yeah.
those are going to be done wrong. Some of them are going to have to get it done again.
Well, and I think the scary statistic too is like when you hit 56 or so, if you fall and break a hip, you only got roughly 50-50 chance of being alive at the end of the year. So a lot of people who fall and break a hip don't quite recover from it. So we might surmise that might have something to do with high blood sugar and not healing up good.
Right. And back to my little earlier point, instead of longevity, I think the focus is just quality of life. I mean, being
Sure.
able to walk, possibly run, to be able to lift weights, to be able to get up from a fall, to fall and not break anything when you get up in that 60, 70, maybe even 80 range. Going to be watching Sean Baker, right, to see what he's like at 90, what he's doing. I know Tom posted recently a lady who is a bodybuilder. Was she 80? The world's
Yes,
oldest
professional bodybuilder.
bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, not everyone's going to be her. I get that. There's genetic factors there, and there's other factors and things like that. But, you can get close in your own way. And so me and Tom are big believers in carnivore, but also movement, resistance training, compound movements, things like that, because the stronger your muscles are, the stronger your bones are. Your joints get used to the load as long as you're loading properly. All that can contribute to being healthy later in life. I'm 32, but I hang around older people. My job, I'm required to speak to older people, and they're great people. Their minds are often great. They have great knowledge and everything. But you hear about knee replacements or this pain, back surgeries, could be its own video. And, it kind of doesn't matter how sharp your mind is if you're in pain and you can't sleep and you can't move. You're just kind of depressed and sad.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, if you can stay active and agile and you're less likely to fall, like you said, the more muscle, the stronger your bones are. They go hand in hand. You got to feed them protein and you got to put a load on them one way or the other. So strength is definitely an indicator of longevity.
Yeah. And, on top of that, God forbid you do get in a car accident in later stage of life or some kind of accident. If your body's more apt, more strong, you're going to be able to take that blunt force trauma much easier without, maybe you might have to stay one day or one night in the hospital just to get checked out. But it's a big difference to spending a week or having a body cast or a broken bone or something.
Yeah, I told a story roughly about the same time that you were saying your brother-in-law tripped and fell and broke a hip. I was on vacation with my sister and I tripped and fell and did not break anything except perhaps a new level of embarrassment. So
your ego was damaged, but that's what we want. If our ego's damaged, that's easily repaired.
bruised ego. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was our topic for today. Once maybe people out there want to leave us a comment about their joint pain or their joint replacement, joint therapy, joint improvement. Let us know how you're doing. And hopefully you won't be part of the projected 3.5 million a year knee replacements that they're estimating by 2020. So,
well, we're at the end of 2020, so that's
I'm sorry, 2030.
Oh,
2030. I was off by a decade.
See, you're not adding numbers correctly, and I'm adding too many zeros. We're okay. That's how we balance each other out.
That's what happens when you stare at a screen all day. It all melts together. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching, and everybody out there, eat some meat, feel better. Whatever you do, make sure you turn down the ringer on your cell phone before you start recording videos.